Hi friends, welcome back to Raman Tutorials for GK. This is Rajkumar from Chitradurga. Today, I would like to discuss on the topic direct and indirect speech. I think you know what do you mean by direct speech. The direct speech means the exact words of the speaker. That is quoting the exact words of the speaker. So here the speaker is Ramesh. So what Ramesh said, so here we have just quoted here what he said. We wrote it in the within the quotation mark. Okay, so if in any sentence, if we quote the speaker's words as it is, then it is called a direct speech. Now let us see what is indirect speech. See here, Ramesh said that he was very busy then. See here, in the first sentence, we have quoted the exact words of the speaker. But here in the second sentence, so we are not quoting the exact words of speaker, but we are just reporting what the speaker said. Here Ramesh is speaker. What he said, we are reporting. See here, instead of I am very busy now, so we wrote Ramesh said that he was very busy then. So let us see what are the rules or what we have to do while changing direct into indirect speech. See here, the first and foremost thing is we must remove comma and inverted commas. See here, in the indirect speech there is no comma and inverted comma. That is the first thing. Next one, see here, this is called direct statement and this is called indirect statement. See here, before the indirect statement we have to use conjunction that. See here, the first thing is we should remove comma and inverted comma. Second one is we should add before the indirect statement, we should add conjunction that. Okay, so the next change is here pronoun I is used here, and this is first person. I is a first person, so this changes into third person. I changes into E. So while changing direct into indirect, we must change all the first person into third person. And the next one is see here in the first sentence am is used, that is it is in the simple present tense, and it changes into was. That means that simple present tense changes into simple past tense. So here one thing you have to remember, while changing direct into indirect speech, all the present tense of the direct speech changes into corresponding past tense in the indirect speech. What is that corresponding past tense? Corresponding past tense means all the present tense changes into corresponding past tense, that is simple present tense changes into simple past tense like this, and present continuous changes into past continuous, present perfect changes into past perfect. In the same manner, simple past changes into past perfect. Okay, so we will see the examples and we will come to know about those things. So and then the next one is, see the adverb now, it changes into then. Here the adverb now refers to the nearness of time. See here, now, just now, that is nearness of time. Here that changes into adverb that refers to distance of time. See here, then, like that. Okay, now changes into then. See here, these are some of the very important changes while changing a direct into indirect speech. let us discuss once again. So what are those important changes? The first one is we should remove commas and inverted comma, and then all the first person changes into third person, and before the indirect statement, that is I am, he was very busy then, so we have to use conjunction that, and all the present tense changes into corresponding past tense, and then adverbs expressing nearness of time changes into adverbs expressing distance of time. So these are some of the important change rules we have to follow while changing direct into indirect speech. Okay, so as I told you, simple present tense changes into simple past tense. Okay, so let us see those examples one after another one. The first one, see that, here simple present tense is changes into simple past tense. See here, he said I go to school every day. Here it changes into simple past tense, he said, and before this is indirect statement, that is he went to school is a indirect statement, this is direct statement. Okay, so before the indirect statement we have to use conjunction that. Okay, and then the first person I changes into third person he, and then go, simple present tense, it changes into went. Okay, so see here, so he said I go to school every day changes into he said that he went to school every day. Okay, let us go to the next example. Now see, simple past tense changes into past perfect tense. Simple past tense changes into past perfect tense. See here, he said I went to school every day. See here, he said that, before indirect statement we have used conjunction that. He said that, so I, instead of I first person we use third person went. See here, it is simple past tense, I went, so it changes into past perfect tense, that is he had gone. Went changes into had gone, so then remains same, that is so to school every day, to school every day, it remains a change, not it remains as it is, there is no change in it. So let us go to the next example. Present perfect tense changes into past perfect tense in the indirect speech. See here, he said I have gone to school every day. See here, he said that I changes into he, have gone changes into had gone. That means, present perfect tense changes into past perfect tense. Okay, he said he had gone to school every day changes into he said that he said I have gone to school every day changes into he said that he had gone to school every day. Let us go to the next example. So present continuous tense or present progressive tense it is also called. So it changes into past continuous tense or past progressive tense. For example, he said I am going to school every day. See here, I am going, it is present continuous tense. So it changes into he said that he was going to school every day. See here, I, before indirect statement we use this is indirect statement, he was going to school every day is indirect statement. Before this we have used conjunction that, and this I changes into he, then was going changes into, sorry, am going changes into was going. Okay, let us move to the next example. So past progressive, that means that past continuous tense, so it changes into past perfect continuous tense. Past continuous tense or past progressive tense changes into past perfect continuous tense, or it is also called past perfect continuous tense or past perfect progressive tense. So let us see the example. He said, I was going to school every day. See here, I was going. It is a past continuous tense. So this changes into had been going. So here, so in the past tense, so we use had. Okay, so past perfect tense, so we use had. So had been going, because we have changed here this into past perfect continuous tense. Okay, so he said I was going changes into he said that he had been going to school every day. Next, if it is a future tense, for example, will is there means it changes into would. Will changes into would. For example, is here he said, I will go to school every day. It changes into he said that. So I changes into he. So will changes into would. He would go to school every day. Next, if it is an imperative sentence, if it is an imperative sentence, what we have to do is here, he said, go to school every day. It is an imperative sentence. So then it changes into he said to go. We have to use infinitive here. He said to go to school every day. Okay, so here we should not change present tense into past tense here. So we should not change go into went. We should not change like this. So imperative sentence is there means here he said go to school every day. So we should not use conjunction that here. He said to go to school every day. We have to use infinitive. To infinitive we have to use to plus v1, that is to go to school every day. So then if there is can in the direct speech, how it will changes into could. For example, he said I can go to school every day. Changes into he said that. I changes into he. Can changes into could. He could go to school every day. So if it is a may, so it changes into might. For example, he said I may go to school every day. So here he said that he might. Here may changes into might. He might go to school every day. Then must. If there is a must, then we have to change this into had to. It's very important, you see here. So must is going to change into had to. So he said I must go to school every day. He said that he had to. So he had to go to school every day. So he must changes into had to. Always, so you have to keep this thing in your mind. If there is a must, it changes into had to. Then if there is how to, if there is a how to, so it changes into should. For example, he said I have to go to school every day. I have to go to school every day. It changed into, it changes into should. Here should. So here in the, because here have to is there. If only have is there and v3 form is there, then we have to make it into had plus v3 form. But here it is not like that. Have to is there, it changes into should. Have to changes into should. That we have to keep in your mind. Okay, he said I have to go to school every day, changes into he said that I should go to school every day. There is a mistake here. Okay, let us go to the more examples. So see here, direct speech it is. I am very happy, she said. See here, she said is at the end. So we have to take in the beginning that one. She said that she was happy. I changes into she, and am simple present tense changes into was. That is so I am happy. She said that she was happy. Next. So in the direct speech, I am reading a book. He explained. Here he explained that. Here this is the indirect statement. Before indirect statement, we are using conjunction that, and instead of I, we are using he, because it is first person. We are changing into third person, and am reading is there, that is continuous present continuous tense changes into past continuous tense, that is was reading. Am reading changes into was reading. That it is very easy. I am reading a book. He explained that he was reading a book. Next example, she said he has finished his food. Okay, so in the indirect speech, she said that. Before indirect statement, we have to use conjunction that. So he had finished his food. Okay, so has changes into had. Next, let us go to the next example. I have been to Gujarat. So he told me. I have been to Gujarat. He told me. He told me that. So I changes into he. Have been changes into had been. That is a present perfect continuous tense changes into past perfect continuous tense. Okay, this is present perfect continuous tense. It changes into past perfect continuous. Okay, let us go to the another example. So he said Rani, he said Rani arrived on Monday. Okay, Rani arrived on Monday. See here, he said that. Before indirect statement, we have to use a conjunction that. So he said that Rani had arrived. Why it is changed to had arrived? Because arrived, this is simple past tense. Rani arrived, that is simple past tense, changes into past perfect tense. Okay, so Rani arrived changes into Rani had arrived. Let us go to the next example. So we were living in Goa, they told me. We were living in Goa, they told me. See here, this is past continuous tense. We are living is present continuous tense. We were living is a past continuous tense. So let us see how it is going to change. They told me that. So we changes into they. See here, were living. It is past continuous tense changes into past perfect continuous tense. See here, so we were living changes into they had been living in Goa. Okay, so let us go to the next one. So he said I will be in Kolkata tomorrow. Okay, so here he said that. I changes into he will is there, it changes into would. So he would be in Kolkata the next day. Here tomorrow is there, it changes into next day. It is tomorrow. It is the adverb expressing nearness of time. It changes into the adverb expressing distance of time. That is, tomorrow changes into next day. Let us go to the another example. So she said, I will be using the car the next Friday. She said, I will be using the car the next day. So she said that I changes into she. She will changes into would. I will changes into she would be using the car the next Friday. Okay. So another example. Uh, he said, I can swim. He said that. So I changes into he. He can changes into could. He could swim. Okay. So next example. He said, I may buy a house. Okay. So he said that he might buy a house. Here may changes into might. Okay. So may changes into might. So he said, I may buy a house. He said that he might buy a house. Okay. So must changes into had to, would have to. Must changes into had to or would have to. Here this is very important. You have to remember, must is there means it is going to change into had to or would have to. He said, I must work hard. Okay. So he said that he, here had to, must changes into had to work hard. So he said that he had to work hard. So here always must changes into had to. Then there are some models they do not change. For example, would, could, might, should, ought to. So these models, if they are present in the direct speech, so they will remain same in the indirect speech. They are not going to change. For example, he said, I should face the challenge. So here he said that he should face the challenge. Here should, would, could, might, ought to will remain same in the indirect speech. There will be no change in that. Okay. So as already I told you, there are adverbs expressing nearness of time. So our place, they change into the words expressing the distance of time in the indirect speech. So let us see the examples. So now changes into then. Here now changes into then. Very important it is. Here changes into there. Ago changes into before. Okay. Thus changes into so. Thus changes into so. Today, this is very important. It changes into that day. Today changes into that day. Tomorrow changes into the next day. And this changes into that. This changes into that. Yesterday changes into the day before. So these changes into those. So in the same manner, hither changes into thither. Come changes into go. Hence changes into thence. The next week or next month changes into following week or following month. Okay. So one example. So the teacher said, tomorrow will be a holiday. The teacher said that the next day, here instead of tomorrow, the next day is used. The next day would be a holiday. Okay, so the tomorrow changes into the next day, will changes into would. Okay, so dear friends, with this today I am going to conclude my class. I am going to end up my session. So on tomorrow part 2, I am going to discuss about direct and indirect speech only. So tomorrow in the next class I am going to discuss the how to change